Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, February the 20th, 2024. The markets basically spent most of the session, if not all of the session, lower at various levels. We did see some heavier selling earlier, and we saw some recovery. Then we saw some selling. So we got a little bit of everything today in terms of back and forth. Still, though, appearing that it was a part of a fourth wave. As I had laid out yesterday, and I'm going to just now move a little bit deeper, I'm going to start here on the 4-hour chart with the NASDAQ, and I'm going to open this up a little bit so we can see inside this minor fifth wave, which I believe is still in progress. Again, what's going to be the big axe coming down and chopping the head off of this rally, so to speak, would be, in my opinion, would be a break below 17,220. That is where this wave down would break below the low of wave two, thus not being a fourth wave anymore, because it will fourth wave is correct wave three. Now, being that we're in a diagonal triangle, and I'm keeping that, trying desperately to keep that into play, that the market, the fourth wave can overlap wave one, which it is now done even deeper. But what it can't do is correct all of wave three. Then it's not a fourth wave. And we've got to really put ourselves around that. Now, if we want to shift this back and call this wave one, wave two, ABC wave three, then, this is going to have to work out to be, an ABC, 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 ABC. That in and of itself may be the ticket. So a couple of adjustments, and I understand that people are saying, oh, great, here you go. You're just going to make an adjustment to fit what I want. And it's really not what I want. I would like the market to make itself extremely clear. But we still sit in between, as they say, a rock and a hard place in terms of what are we doing, market. So again, the NASDAQ was down at times over 200 today, as we started to see a breakdown of AMAT, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, which both recovered, Netflix, NVIDIA, and Tesla. NVIDIA at one point was down 40. And actually, as I read in the news, it will go down as the largest capital reduction, right, that NVIDIA has seen ever. And this is one day prior to the expectation that they're going to blow the doors off the earnings. So it says a lot about the pricing that's been taking place in NVIDIA. And we're going to wait and see, because NVIDIA reports tomorrow after the close. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fireworks. There may be fireworks tomorrow getting this whole thing going. There may be fireworks after those earnings came out, pushing this thing to its final destination. And then it being done. Now, that's a fair scenario to kind of like paint here right now. That we saw a lot of adjusting going on today, a lot of moving around, a lot of everything, particularly after AMAT reported last Thursday, ended up trading above 200 on Thursday afternoon after the bell, and then again on Friday, and then closing back down, I believe it was pretty much right at 200 or just below 200, but then got hit hard today. Now, you can choose the reason, but there it was. We saw profit being taken. And again, the same thing happening in Netflix, the same thing happening in Tesla, where they pumped up the stocks last week and then they just came and whacked them down again today. So it's interesting. Now, also interesting today, the leading economic indicators actually came out worse than what was expected. They declined 0.4% instead of 0.3%. And yet the market had a very, very muted response. I mean, I can go back and I could say that this actually was the response, but it wasn't. It was within this bar, and it came pretty much well after the number. So whether that had something to do with it, whether it didn't, I don't know. But they weren't good. They continued to show that the leading economic indicators are continuing to not be reflective that everything is rosy and under control. Now, I don't blame any one institution or one department within the government or one person. So I urge that all of this has been long term in the making. And I just, yeah, I will not turn it political. In any case, I believe what we have finished today is, again, the decline came within, I think it was $6 of that next support level down, which was 446, excuse me. And it got down to 52.50. And then rallied up off of that level and is continuing to hold the rally. You know, not all that great because the market's still going to look like it's going to close down at least 145, possibly more. In any case, I think that we may have reached it. I am labeling it, as I suggested yesterday, that if this, I had left the 4 there, but I said there's a possibility it's an A, a B, and we're going to do a C and then put the 4 over here, as long as it stayed above this level. So it came down and it did, put in the slight new low, which is perfect. Now, if we go here, that was 8,022. This was 121, so it was about 90 points. It was less, like that low, excuse me, was 542, and this was 452. So that was 80. This basically was 80 coming down. So equal to where C equaled A. And that was pretty much where it happened. So that all fit. And not, you know, I got to go inside as a 4-hour chart, but on the 1-hour chart, it pretty much, you can do the 5. You can get 5 down for a C wave. This is 3, or actually it's a double. And then this again would be 5. So it's a 5, 3, 5, A, B, C. Now, here's the real kicker that, you know, I'm going to leave it as a 4. If anything, if this is a small 4, it can't overlap there, and it really shouldn't be overlapping this. If we're going to say 1, 2, 3. So that's why I'm putting the 4 there, because you can see it quickly ran back up. It's not gotten above the body of these candles. It's just above the tails. So, you know, stranger things. But there always is going to be that outlier where it's like, well, it maybe it's this. But I'm going to leave it here and consider the rally will again now pick back up and start to carry us. What needs to happen is it needs to get back above 17,800 and continue to move. So in essence, really what my gut tells me needs to take place now is the market needs to start rallying and not look behind it. It needs to move forward and just keep taking back all this territory and not get stuck with a couple of rounds of heavy selling. And that's kind of what we did see today. We're looking for a reversal. And I'm going to be looking towards NVIDIA, being that they're going to be in the spotlight tomorrow, to either lead the charge up or lead the charge down. So it should be an interesting day. Now, moving average wise, it came down and touched the 200 exponential, so the EMA, and then right below that at, let me see, 394 is the simple moving average, the SMA, the 200 period. So we haven't gotten back above the 4, the 8, the 20, and the 50. So they're still all kind of a little bit still pointing lower. But I would think if we go back and see recapturing those by a move back above 17,600 to begin, then of course 700, 800 to kind of get these things to turn and start to cross back up. So now what I've also done is put in our fib extensions that we get our measurements for minute wave 5, if indeed that's what this is, being a minute wave 4, and that we are, if indeed we are in that minute 5th wave. So again, our cluster continues to build now around that 1.236 for primary wave B, and that remains at 18,250. But now you're starting to see we're able to start to fill in some of the blanks, and we're coming in above. So our cluster is from 18,250, which is the primary B wave, up to we have minor wave 5, 1.618 at 18,370. I think that's that upper number. And then the 618 for minute wave 5 sits at 18,350. So 250, 350, 380. And the cluster really is around these minor and minute 5th waves. They're kind of coming in together. Now, a clean break above all of those takes us to where minute wave 5, it's 100%, which is going to be 18,903, which brings us back up towards that second primary wave B level at 1.382. And that's at 19,167. And then once again, minor wave 5, should it break above the 1.618, its next level is 2.618, which again throws us up into this upper cluster zone. Now both, you see, they start with the primary B wave calculation on the irregular basis, 1.236, 1.382. And then the minor 5th and the minute 5th fill in here and here and here and here. So both still carry a fair amount of weight all the way. So it's a large cluster followed by a smaller and then another larger. But all kind of this grouped together within, a very large window, but still within, that's going to be 600, that's 700 points to there, it's 1,000 points to here, so it's quite a big window. But the market, I actually, in my heart of hearts, something really good's got to happen for this thing to turn and go to the moon, Alice. Something really good has to happen. We can't spend time after NVIDIA just kind of go lolling around waiting for that next piece of news, not knowing exactly what it's going to be. So that's how close I think we are actually. That, and it's like, if nothing else, if they blow the doors off, but it's not going to be supported and it's not going to have this absolutely glowing beyond glowing forward guidance, then my suspicion is it's like, yep, they'll acknowledge the earnings and then proceed to go what the market should be doing for the balance of this quarter and next quarter. That's kind of my thought process here. I'm looking for the completion point of that primary wave B. I'm looking for completion of minor wave 5, and I am still looking at it to be a diagonal. So it's going to have to start just kind of like really cruising up versus this way. And right now it's just flat up in here. So, I can give it some elevation this way. But see, if I connect this, it's got to connect to there. It's going to be more of expanding than anything else. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. The other side I have to tell you that's still out there is the fact that it's all done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all done. Yep, we've only gotten 3 down so far. We're rallying back up, but it could be 1, 2, 3, a little forward inside this, and then we do a 5 down, we get below that, and then it's 1, 2, 3, another 4 and a 5 to finish it. So these are all possibilities. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt that the market does want to go up, but it's finding problems. So there's both sides of the coin, okay? The alternate right now would stand, and this is on the 4-hour chart. I'm going to bring it back down. Let's take a look at the 1-hour chart. Open it up, look inside. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. That's a 1 of 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4. So it looks like one more down. And that's just to finish the third. You got a lot of chop going on, a lot of chop in here. And if I got to count each one in an hourly, well, you're going to have to keep moving it, moving the goalpost. So I'm leaving it right now that it did complete and it'll rally. If I look at these internals, I got to leave open that it can turn, come back down, break below there. And then, of course, I think we had some additional at still 17,446, 445, and then it breaks. But I'm be looking for something in between before it were to hit 17,220. That's the no break zone. And then it's really got to be considered complete, which I just went over. All right, so we're going to see. I think we're very close, and I think we will get all the data, all the information pretty quickly. Now, in its favor here in the S&P, yep, the market dropped below 5,000 again today, but recovered. Not back above 5,000 just yet, but did recover it. And so I didn't move this 4 because it's like, well, it's interesting. Remember yesterday I was talking about on the SPX that we had here a slight, oh, here it's not so evident here. We had that high at 5,038 and this high was 5,048, but it came pretty close. So it should, if anything, you're looking for it to be, if it's going to be A, B, C, it should pretty much end up back down just as close, if not, a little bit below 49.20, but we're not getting there. So if this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, then it's going to be a wave 1. Now let's go back over, right? If this is 3, 4, 1 of 5. Let's go back over to the ES and see what we can do here. So if we're looking there, right, we got that 3. And this was 5,066. This was 5,059. So again, close, absolutely close. But if we're still looking for additional downside for the wave 4, it should be pretty much a flat. Not looking for it to drop horrendously below 49.36. I think 49.28 will do the trick, right? 59.66, $8 or $6, $7. Here we have it. Right there. Fibs telling us 100%. This equals that. 49.28. We got as low as 49.68. So we said $40. It's shy $40. Now, here in the futures market, let me kind of pull that open. We're looking at the hourly chart on this guy. Looks like AB. And then it's just kind of going up again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Right? Right? A's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So either that, okay, we're going to count this as a 4. But this actually, we'd have to go A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C. Right? Okay, so we give that the 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. It's going to be a toughie because you got all this nonsense garbage right there. Like, what was that? The rest of it, nicely impulsive, but what was this and how do we want to count it? That's where problem number one comes in. So I can get a 1, I can get a 2. I can say 3, I could put in a 4 and give this a 5 and call it a 1. And I don't know what this is. And it comes right in between, right? This is 1, 2, 1 of 3, 2 of 3. Wow, so it's kind of ugly. 3 of 3, but oh, it doesn't fit, does it? Not at all. So it just doesn't fit. And so you kind of have to go with a little bit different view, and that this was an ABC, and that we still have more downside to do in the S&P. How it going to be counting out? I mean, I could just take it off, take it out of the candles, put it down on the line chart, and you can see possibly here's a little bit clearer, where you're able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So even there, still going to look for more. So we got to leave this all open. All of it needs to stay open. Is this being wave A, this being wave B, and then we're still going to do a C wave down. What's that going to do to the NASDAQ? I'm telling you, this is the point we're at. We're at a very difficult juncture, technically speaking, for both of these markets. Because if one does not hold above a level that's not too far below where it is, and this still needs to come down basically 60 to 68 points, it starts to get problematic. So I have to leave it all into place for right now. Trading wise, it was kind of very choppy, but consolidating, lots of consolidation. And that continues to be the path. Moving averages, mixed. 200 kind of going flat, the SMA kind of turning, the 50s turned, the 20s turned, everything's still pointing lower, which tells me that we probably should come down quickly, get this thing done, and then pick up the rally again, if indeed that's what it is. Because the same thing has to exist here that exists over in the other, and that is that this would be done 3, 4, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and not this triangle. So we're really skirting it up here, and that's kind of how I feel. But I'm going to give it another day and see what really transpires here. I mean, you could break it down. I can go to a 15-minute chart and just really start to talk about, all the internals. But look at these moves, guys. Come on. They're great to trade. I will share that with you. That was nice trading. Right? Towards the end of the day, it kind of came down and rallied all the way back, and then they brought it all the way down. So again, this was a nice trade. Pretty much, this morning. This was the opening. Nice moves, tradable. So if you're a day trader and you're able to get in and get out, and you could ride these a little bit, you made some decent money today. So that part is there. And you can run a lot of fibs internally and you can play off of them. But if you're trading off of a 1-hour chart or greater and looking to put a position on, very difficult. We will get more information tomorrow. Let me just take a quick look at the economic. For Wednesday, we just have all the governors plus the minutes of the Fed's January meeting comes out at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm not really looking for anything that the world or the market doesn't already know. So I would be a wonder, why they would react, because it's all known. But we'll see. So 2 p.m. Eastern, you'd be looking for something from the market. In the meantime, Atlanta Fed, Richmond Fed, and Fed Governor Michelle Bowman, they're all out talking tomorrow morning and to early afternoon. All right. That is going to be it for me for today. Our next update will be on Wednesday, February the 21st.